Mic test, mic test. Mic test. Mic test. Testing one, testing two. All right. What's going on, y'all? Happy Monday. It is no noise time. I'm Z Rex. It's about quarter to noon. May 22nd of 2023. I hope you all had an awesome weekend. We're back with some price action update, which doesn't really look like we have too much to update except for maybe traditional markets or attempting to have some continuation. The Russells catching up to the rally that the other indices had late last week. Other than that, though, it kind of looks like a bunch of flatness. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. Again, hope you all had a beautiful weekend. And it's good old Monday, everybody's favorite day. Let's jump right into Mama Bear and see what we got. See if we got any new info. Usually we don't get anything over the weekends. The weekends are pretty crappy. Ever since the futures came out for crypto or Bitcoin specifically in 2017, it's just kind of meh over the weekend. Not that surprising. But anyway, let's talk about some price. We are still going sideways. Yay. We are about to get the 21 to cross back below the 55. Looks like that will happen today outside of any bigger rally. I would guess probably about over 27.5 or so would probably prevent that. But closing down here on the lower end of these ranges, we are going to get that cross. Let's look at some oscillators. Yeah, the bulls are in the weak zone. Kind of neutral here. The Bears did attempt to get in the power zone, but kind of rejected so far off of this attempt right here. We're kind of just going a little bit sideways. Nothing too crazy. And you can see we're barely holding on to this tail on the wick, which is also lining up with this trend line cross. So that 26,000 handle, it's still the same shit as it has been for many videos now. Probably the last 10 or so at least. And let's see here. And the same with the upside. We really need to get comfy back above about 28,000. So we're kind of in just lull land between 26 and 28,000, just as we have been for the since this breakout attempt back in mid-March. So how long has this been now? 67 days of just flatlining pretty much. So exciting, isn't it? Let's look how the weekly closed. Great. A little crappy doji right on top of all the moving averages. So there's still mega support right here, y'all, like a cheat ton. All the EMAs on a weekly time frame with a trend line cross like that. I mean, this is no joke. This is mega support zone. around that 26,000 area. And again, I mean, nothing's changed from the videos last week. As long as we're kind of hovering above that zone, it's okay. The Bears are kind of still maintaining their dominance here on DMI on the lower time frames. We're on the 458 or roughly a 7 hour if you don't have custom time frames. And we are kind of getting worked by the 21, making lower highs and even lows, kind of building a descending triangle. So that isn't the most bullish setup by any means. But man, it's just super range tight. And until we really break out of that, I'm not really going to lean any direction for the short term. Macro, I'm still bullish. By macro, I mean pretty much like weekly time frames. We're talking the higher time frames. That doesn't change until we either break 24,000 or get an open and close for a couple weeks below the 21 EMA, which is this yellow line right here. So either way you slice that, I mean, obviously this week cannot open and close below the 21. So we're looking at least, 2-3 weeks for that to even come to fruition. So we got some time on our hands, you could say. One thing I do want to point out is I noticed over the weekend on the futures for Bitty Bits, is look at the gaps over here. We got this little gap right here, little tiny gap, but hey, it is a gap, about a couple grand, what are roughly $1,500. Then we got another gap right over here on the launch. We filled both, and you can kind of see we're actually like just hanging out around both of those gaps on the futures. So just more data reiterating that 26,000 to about 28,000 levels. Super, super important. And you also can see all the major moving averages sitting right below price action with this real super tight doji. You don't get, pretty much that's the tightest doji you can get right there. It literally looks like two lines. There's not even really a body on that. So the market is very confused. Okay, let's go over here. This is one thing that is very interesting to me. Over the weekend, we did get a vol flash up here. And this is a free indicator. We've talked about it all the time on the stream. If you're an avid regular listener, y'all know about it. It is free. You can just go look at it in the indicators. Just look up historical volatility. I do think that it is worth having on your charts. But regardless, let's talk about this flash here. We got one yesterday, which is officially closed. The next one looks like if it just stays in this range, which is probably pretty likely, here in the next 7 hours, we'll get another one. And let's go back in history a little bit and check this out. Oh, wait, hold up. Let me clean the chart up just a tad. I'm going to clean up all the drawings. All right. I have noticed that in the last, there's only about 7 of these instances. I was checking this out last night. There's only about 7 of these instances that this has happened. And oddly enough, this is kind of crazy. Every single one of them has led to upside moves. And we're going to go back in history and check those out. Now, a couple of them were false breakouts with roughly 15-ish% rallies before failing, which is kind of a funny price point right here because that puts us right up around this little local high and right around 2K is about 10%. So let's go back and show y'all these. Here's the last one that we had. And this kind of similar compression, right? Tight price action and right below the 21 and the 55, which led to price exploding to the upside just a few days later. All right. So there's upside. That one is not one of the false breakouts. That is actually a true breakout because that did get continuation and has for the last, pretty much this whole year. Here's the last one that happened. We just got one little baby flash right here on another similar consolidation period, which did lead to a pretty decent rally of about 22% before we did have a major dump of, this is one of the false ones. It's also noteworthy too. What's going on, Osmanor? How are you doing today? I'm glad to have you in here, man. So we got this guy here. This is one of the false breakouts. But what's interesting about those is that those do tend to happen underneath the 200-day moving average, which is this dotted white line right here. All right, so keep that in mind as we're scrolling back. But this one was a false breakout, but, it did end up getting caught by price structure, looking left, before another one triggered, and that was about 80 days later, roughly. So there's the second one. And let's scroll back in history a little bit more. Here's another one right here in August of 21, right after actually a really big rally. Notice how this one was above the 200, and this one proceeded to have a 52% move. Pretty large move there. Right back up to the local high, and then got a little selling pressure to come back and actually test the zone of where this vol flash has occurred, which is actually pretty important. That's another kind of deeper layer of the analysis layer of the historical vol flash. Usually those candles that they happen on are very critical price points, and you can use them for later supports or resistances, depending where we're at with structure. But there's another one that was upside breakout. Continuing in history, here's another one back in July of 2020. You can see off of another very, very tight consolidation pattern that was about 50 days. And this one also led to upside breakout of almost 100% over the time frame of that before it kind of got a little liquidation break here. So very large. And that one was also within a few days. Let's just call it within the week. Oh, yeah, I didn't mention that on this one. This was also within the week too, actually more like 3 days. And then I didn't mention it on this one either because that's kind of important. And this one took a little bit longer. That one took about 12 days. So let's just call it, like I said a minute ago, about a week. All right, continuing to go back in history, we did see this one, so big rally there. And going further back, pre-corona crash, everything was going to just die and explode. Remember that, guys? Well, that didn't happen, did it? Anyway, here's another one. All right, so this is one of the ugliest ones, but nonetheless, it still did lead to upside price action. Notice how we are below the 200. So the ones that were below the 200 average all have been false breakouts. All right, so that is definitely noteworthy. Now, again, there's only 7 or so of these instances, so you can't really hang your hat on 7 things or whatever, but it's still a good point of information. And Ethereum isn't that old either, so you kind of have to put all that together. And then you can see this one here rallies about 12%, roughly, and it did happen within 6 days. So again, hitting right about that week mark, and you can see it did rally right to the previous resistance before rolling over. So there's again though, it did lead to a rally, but it was a false breakout rally. So just keep that in mind. We were below the 200 as well, though, on that too. And if we keep going back, I think that might be the last one. There might be one more. Yeah, here's the last one because it needs quite a bit of data to even plot this. So you can see from when Ethereum first came out back in 2015, it needs about a year to do the historical volatility calculation. Now, you can change that if you want, but I kind of don't mess with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's kind of how I think, my philosophy there. Anyway, and the last one here is January 2017, which is on the higher end of about 2 weeks. So you've seen that we're anywhere from about 3 days to about 14 days. And so that's why I'm just averaging it at about a week that you do get resolution from this pattern or this signal. And again, this was to the upside. Initially, it was about 18%, but it ended up being one of the biggest massive rallies when everybody kind of got crypto on their radar, which I consider the 2017 rally to very much do that. So there you go. Those are all the instances. I just wanted to share that because I do think that it's very important because we're literally getting that same signal right now. And we are above the 200. Not once above the 200 on a vol flash has price broke down. So I don't know, just some food for thought. And you can see here, it looks like this vol flash. You can see it kind of going yellow right there live. As we talk about it, was red a second ago, but on this little tiny rally, it looks like above 1820-ish or so. It is flipping to yellow, but regardless, it is flashing. And if we take 7 days out or 3 days out, that would be the end of this week. 7 days would be obviously next Monday, and if 14 days would be conveniently right at the end or right at the beginning of June at the end of May, which we've been kind of targeting. We would probably see resolution from this consolidation by the end of this month or around the end of the month. So pretty interesting there. Other than that, though, Ethereum's just chilling, going sideways. Let's see here. Ethereum futures not really showing us anything. Let's go to Litecoin. Charlie Lee is still kind of flagging out right here. Pennant, flag, something like that, whatever you want to call it. There you go, something like this. So this is actually pretty interesting. Y'all know we are very bullish on this crypto or shitcoin. Maybe it's not a shitcoin. It's been around quite a long time. One of the first ones. It's the first shitcoin. We can call it that. But anyway, above the upper 80s, this thing looks really good. And if this does end up breaking out to the upside on the flag, this is actually a measured move up over 100, which is extremely significant. Very interesting price structure here. And don't forget, Litecoin led the bull market. Oh, let's not call it all the way bull market yet. It definitely looks a lot better than it has in, a couple of years or whatever. But it did lead this rally that we've had for most of this year, all the way back to October, right on the week of Halloween. Pretty interesting timing there. The Halloween coin. Anyway, Litecoin looks really fantabulous above upper 80s. I really like this. The only way I would change my mind on this is if we start closing, we probably need at least 2 or 3 daily candles below like 85 bucks. Lots of support though in that upper 80 zone. This is one of the best looking charts in crypto right now. Let's see here. Ethereum Classic. Oh, look, sideways. Nothing really add, but also look, vol flash. We're starting to see these vol flashes across many different shitcoins. So that is very interesting. Now, are they all like Ethereum's with upside breakouts? No, they are definitely not. Here's a perfect example of that below the 200, and it just started selling real fast, pretty much right after the vol flash. So not all vol flashes are created equal. That's why the 200 MA is used a lot, especially on a daily, for kind of general trend Momo. If the slope is down, generally it's best to sell rallies, blah, blah, blah. Y'all probably know that. That's pretty much basic TA 101. XRP just hanging out right on top of the 21 and the 55. It's trying to get bullish, but just very neutral. We got bears and bulls battling out in said neutral zone on DMI. And if you're new here, I consider between 16 and 26 the neutral zone, between 10 and 16 the weak zone, below 10 is the forgotten zone, and above 26 is the power zone. Yes, I know this isn't right at 26. It doesn't need to be exactly on there. Sometimes I just throw these on here real quick with like Alt H if like it doesn't have it on there already. This is not exact science. It's definitely more art-esque than science. So, yeah, don't have to worry about 0.5, 50 cents or however you want to measure that. Whatever. I digress. XRP, though, just kind of hanging out here. It is making even highs and higher lows. Kind of a real sloppy ascending triangle. Major resistance at about 48 cents with major support at 42 cents. Y'all already know what the deal is. That's been that way for a long time. This one doesn't, man, it doesn't look great, but look at all these vol flashes. Moves are coming, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. They are close. And it's very funny that these have started flashing in the last like 5-6 days. This get ready. I can't wait for this to finally break out of this dumb range. It's so boring when it just goes sideways, which is a form of capitulation as well. Stuff doesn't always have to sell off really hard. It can just go sideways and not make you money for a long time. And that can have the same effect as a big sell-off. Think of the ES, the S&P or SPX, however, the SPY, whatever you want to reference it as. It's about the same price as 1 year ago. So you talk about boring as hell. Your stocks are flat to down in 1 year. That doesn't make you very happy. Anyway, this looks okay. It's in the middle of all this range in the major support zone. Let's jump up to a weekly. It is trying to make higher highs and higher lows. Yes, we are attempting, bears are attempting to bring this down and break this 8.2 level. So far, unsuccessful. And they do not have good momentum here either. We're at like 45 and in the neutral zone on DMI. So just kind of lollygagging around here. Holy crap. Whoa, I missed this over the weekend. Look at that, boys and girls. We've been watching this one like a hawk because we watch this whole list every 3 times a week anyway. We were just looking for an open and close above this 7.1 area. Looks like we got that on Friday, or is that Saturday? That's Saturday's candle. And now we are just exploding past that. That is the target we were looking for if that were to occur. And I believe we were looking at like 8 cents roughly. Yeah, this little cluster here. So we're almost already actually at the 8 cent level. Wow, big move by Tron. Very nice. I actually like Tron a lot. I use Tron all the time instead of Ethereum. The fees are just so much lower, especially using, I guess TRC, not ERC20 stuff, like contract stuff, but just, using moving Tether around or any kind of those things that Tron is also built on with the gateways, blah, blah, blah. It's very efficient and a lot cheaper than Unicorn Shirt, man. But yeah, this is pretty good. We're already at the target here at about 8 cents, and you already know what's up. If we start getting comfy up here and start building these candles up in this 8 cent, upper 7 cent range, our target on this is between 10 and 14. I know that's a big range, but this is the measured move from this triangle breakout, also from fib extensions and some other stuff, and that's kind of just where they all landed at. So just kind of box that whole range out. So very nice, Tron. Good job, Justin. He was killing it, man. Justin Sun, if you don't know, that's just the guy that started up Tron. Anyway, just lollygagging over here on DOT. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't look super great. It's actually one of the weaker charts, Polkadot. It is just hovering upon its like ICO breakout kind of phase. So, I mean, that's in a good spot to rest. If you get some balls, maybe taking a trade on this isn't the worst idea. If I did, I would stop out pretty much at $5 flat, which is only 5%. So that's actually not that bad. And if Bitcoin and stuff is going to rally and start getting to go here, I mean, this thing will catch up and at least probably go to like 630 or so. ADA, man, look at this. Attempting to break the trend line, but look what we're getting today. Bulls are rejecting said attempt, and we're getting right back up to the top of range. If this can get back above 38, like 37.8, well, whatever. Let's just round it to 38. Make it easier. If this thing can get an open and close, probably just on the 458 or even maybe like a 4-hour would probably do it. A few of those above 38 cents. This thing probably has a good chance to run to, you guessed it, 42 cents. Of course, it has to be a meme number. Let's see here. Sideways as hell. Oh, what? Link is still sideways inside this box? That's cute. Okay. It is on the verge of breakdown and getting all the EMAs sloping down, so that's not great. But look at the oscillators. Bears are not able to get into the power zone here, thus showing they got weak Momo. Their Momo probably won't pick up until it breaks $6 off of the structure of this chart. And plus, y'all already know it's been in this damn range for a year now, faux show, because the beginning of this range is mid-May, and we're already past that. All right, let's keep going here. Uh-oh, EOS. No one likes Dan. Dan's been hated pretty much since crypto started, although he made a really cool project called BitShares. You might have heard of it. You might not. They created one of the first DEXs that was very functional. It was really, really cool. And someone exploited it. Of course, hackers going to be hacking. Someone exploited it and pretty much took the whole thing down. And it's never really recovered from that. Hopefully one day, because it was one of the better DEXs and one of the first. So that was cool. Anyway, right here at the bottom end of the barrel, this thing loses like 80 cents. Watch the hell out. It goes into black hole mode at that point. Even kind of where it's at now, it's flirting with it in the mid 80s. But I like to give myself a little bit cushion, and that's only 5 more cents from here. So open and close on a daily below 80 cents. You. BCH just lollygagging, still getting worked by the 21. No Momo really. Had an attempt to pump out of here. What was that, last week on Tuesday or a couple weeks ago? But not really doing anything. Line in the sand on this is about $105. BSV, what are you doing, BSV? What is Craig doing? Nothing really. Just floating sideways. Ah, what a shocker. Yeah, getting worked by the 21. It looks like it's trying to flip around here. Let me put these horizontals real fast. Bam, bam, bam. So it does look like it's trying to flip around. See if bulls can get back over $37. If they were to do that, I would look for another test up here around, you guessed it, 42. XMR. Oh, look at this. Vol flashes, boys and girls, ladies and gent. I think we saw this. This is one of the first. Yeah, it was on Friday. We talked about this on the stream right on top of the trend line. This is a very good spot. I actually bought some XMR late last week off of this right on the trend line with a vol flash. Yes, these are directionless, but given where this structure is, I'm willing to take the shot. And if it just broke like 146 ish, I would bail on this. But right now, I'm liking the odds of this trade. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, yeah, still needs some work by the Bulls, but if they start getting up into the mid 150s, I think we can look for a pretty decent rally, at least up to this horizontal at like 158, 160, something like that. Zcash, oh, nobody wants to play with me. Oh, poor Zcash. Yeah, line in the sand, man. At $29. Man, this is close. This is real close to just breaking down. It's kind of like Atom or Cosmos. One of those is already broke down and is black hole mode. Looks like the medium line in the sand is 31.50, but long-term macro is 29. If we do lose that 31.50, like that Loch Ness monster, then that's a South Park reference if you don't know. It's actually Tree Fitty. That's old school. Anyway, vol flash selling off, line in the sand. We break 31.50. We're probably going to test this tail, and then we'll have to reassess. Breaking though 34 and 30. It's about 34.20. Of course it is. What other number would it be? We do that. We probably can look for a test back into this mid range. Dash bouncing nicely off the trend line. Testing the 21. Nice little cluster here so far. Looks like the Bulls are attempting to challenge the Bears here. You can see that as they both fight it out, duke it out in the neutral zone. You also can see that the Bulls are trying to regain the Momo, and by the yellow RSI line crossing the special moving average on top of there. Let's see here. Doge, what are you doing, Doge? Doge ain't doing nothing. 666, 666 is major support. As long as we're above that, it's okay. Just very sideways. Look at this compression, man. Super compressed. All right, STX. Not really doing shit. Trying to break out back over the trend line. Getting squeezed by the long-term and short-term moving averages. It's same shit, different day on this. Above 57, it's okay. True. Yeah, I mean, above this swing low, it's all right. Kind of deep testing this consolidation here, but nothing really too happening or cool going down on this. We do kind of have a trend line right here. Something like that-ish. Yeah, something like that. So, hey, man, this week we're pretty much going to have some decent resolution. Another marker for this month, probably providing said resolution on most of these coins. Radix kind of just going sideways. It's still just stuck as a duck, whatever. Above 6.5 looks okay. Oh, Hex is dump fest. Everyone's moving to Pulse Chain. Hex is probably just going to go to 0, I guess, at this point. I'm not really sure. Pulse is actually at this price at like 0.001 or something like that. I will look in a second if that is loaded up into trading view. But yeah, I guess everyone's just dumping hex, moving to pulse. This might just kind of keep dribbling down for a while. Speaking of pulse, let's just go see if we can see it. Pulse. Pulse X. Oh, here we go. It's on Uniswap. Pulse X. There's a couple different ones. I'm imagining this is going to keep popping up too. There'll be some better ones to check out at some point. But right now, yeah, you can see it's at 0.0001, just kind of flat. A lot of gateways and bridges and stuff aren't yet solidified for Pulse, but you can see the volume is definitely starting to pick up today. All right, Adam. Adam is on the edge of breakdown, just riding this trend line. We're getting some negative slopes here. Below 10, 20 starts to look real nasty. Really need to get back above 11.20. Osmos is the one that is in black hole mode. Really, it just looks shitty until it gets back above 69 cents. Nasty. Nasty. Probably one of the nastier charts. Ton barely also holding on. Sub 180s. Ew, watch out. Really need to get back above the $2 mark for Ton. Otherwise, it's looking pretty gnarly. All right, let's go to traditional markets. Hey, look at that. Trying to rally, but we didn't even get higher than Friday's close, which is kind of surprising. Let's zoom into the crack time frames. Yeah, wow, just sideways as hell. Look at this. Pump right on the open. Just kidding. Big shooting star. Took us all the way down. Wow, that's a huge swing. Look at this. This is like a 40-point swing. 30-point swing. 30-point swing within 28 minutes from the open, and now we're just going sideways. That's cool. Let's go to the 3 hour. Man, the 3 hour, though, does look pretty damn good above about 4180s. As long as it's kind of holding above this high and this high, which is, I guess that's a little bit higher, 4190. So let's just say 4190. This actually looks pretty damn bullish. NASDAQ's the one that looks the most bullish. It broke out officially. The only weird thing about it is we are getting vol flashes on the top of this breakout move. That is very different behavior for historical volatility. So I'm not sure exactly what to make out of that. I do not see that very often. So I'm just going with pure price action here. And as long as we're above about 13,600, this is a super bullish chart. The Dow is not so much. It is just consolidating like a mofo. It looks like a crypto chart pretty much, just sideways as hell. It hasn't really done shit since mid-November. So boring as hell. Y'all can clearly see these ranges. I'm just going to kind of gloss over that one. The rut. What's the rut doing? The rut is attempting to break out. 1800 is mega resistance. You can see we rallied up to that today to kind of match Friday's rally, but we're not getting no love past that. 3 hour does look pretty good. Let's see if we can get a couple 3 hour closes above this magenta candle at 1798. If we can get a few 3 hour candles above here, that would actually look pretty good. And I would look for a test of this local high here at about 1820-ish if that were to happen. But man, this thing has been sideways as hell since shit. Wow, it's been a year. So a year of nothing. Not breaking down, not rallying hard, just big. I mean, I guess you could consider these 20% rallies, but look how mean this is. 20% rally in barely 2 months. Oh, lost it all in barely 2 months. Same thing. Ping ponging the shit out of your account. Dow Jones, mega resistance here. Bulls trying to get back up in here, but until it really gets back above 14.2, not so great. DAX did a breakout too with NASDAQ last week. Looks pretty good. Does kind of look like it wants to hit here at 16,666, 666. And as long as we're kind of holding above the previous all-time highs, which is crazy. We're not saying that on many tradables right now, that we're above previous all-time highs. And we're attempting to go into blue sky breakout mode for price discovery at this moment. As long as we're staying above this candle at around 16,200, this looks very bullish. China is just going sideways. Yeah, nothing really. Back right in the range. 2 breakout attempts and then back in the range. That's kind of shitty by bulls, to be fair. Why didn't they get it going here? All right, let's go to VIX. VIX backing off a little bit. VVIX still hovering close to 100. That's interesting. Clustering right underneath 100 is generally not behavior. It either goes right past it and blows up to like this upper range, which is close to 140, or just backs off of it real quick. So this is kind of interesting. We're just camping below it. We still got the $2 plus differential between futures and spot VIX as we just hover on this trend line. So it's like it's kind of just like we're not quite out of the woods yet. We close. All right, oil. Yeah, it needs to get back up into the above 73 handle. Until then, we actually technically do have all the EMAs pointing down. Oscillators are trying to go back neutral, but bears definitely have a slight, excuse me, definitely have a slight advantage below $73. Nat gas, oh, look at that. What a shocker. Already giving it up. It's still making higher highs and higher lows, though. So overall, in the longer term structure, that looks pretty damn good. I'd only start to be concerned if we started losing 235 or so. But right now, this could just be liquidation. We'll see if it's actually a rejection, and that would be, again, price getting back below 235, and then I would consider this a rejection, and we'd probably come back down to this stupid range that it's been in most of the year. Bonds are just dumping. They said, I think Powell came out today and said something about they're going to want to raise rates another like 2 times or whatever. Well, that's bonds are already signaling that. Look at that. Price action beats news. How funny is that? Yeah, it's so funny. Most people don't kind of believe that. They think the news drives everything. But, dude, price is the driver of pretty much all things. Okay, obviously there's one-offs and exceptions, but for the rule, I mean, dude, this is like a price chart is like every single market participant in the entire world and their knowledge collectively is printed onto this chart. So just remember that all the time. Breaking down here, showing that rates probably are going to go up at least 2 more times. And let's see if TNX is over 370. Oh, it is. Look at that, y'all. Interesting. We start getting comfy over here. I would be watching out for some pretty significant downside pressure on markets. Maybe that's signaling we might be doing more than 50-point hikes for the rest, like 2 of them for the rest of the year. Maybe we just come out with a crazy 75 or another 100-point one. That would be very interesting. See how this closes here today and into the week. Very watching that closely, 370, because we're back up there. That's been a real critical area. Dollar trying to break out, but it's coming up right to this resistance at 103, upper 103s, and kind of backing off so far. But the bulls do very much have the momentum on this thus far. They probably won't lose it unless we lose like 102.70. Euro's obviously going to be the inverse of that. Gold obviously going to have some pressure. Precious metals in general will, with the dollar rallying so hard. And, back below 2K, like now it's gone neutral. It was super bullish, and now I'm flipped to a little bit neutral as we ride between 1950 and 2K. Until we get out of that range, I'm going to be neutral. Below, obviously, 1950, I start to get a little bit bearish with the next stop at like 1880s. And then above 2K, we probably break the upside if that were to happen. Silver, you already know, 24.20, same shit. It's in a similar position as gold, kind of just hanging out. And maybe this is just a retest of a very serious consolidation right over here around Christmas time last year. So that's kind of interesting. Really need to see it get back above 24.20. And as gold has the 1880 to 2K range, silver's range is about 2340-ish to about 24. Let's just say 2350 to 2450. Let's try to keep it simple. Palladium just going sideways. Did make a lower high, but nothing really new for price action. Still looks pretty damn good above 1050. I'm sorry, that was platinum. My bad. Palladium is still looking pretty damn sexy as it rides this trend line. I ain't got no problems with this unless it broke like 14.5. GDX just kind of floating. Oh, this is probably, man, look at this. Right on the trend, or not the trend line, the horizontal line. I mean, Doji printed on Friday. Double Doji printing in about 2.5 hours. No Momo here, just sideways as hell. We start getting comfy, though, below 32. It's going to put a lot more pressure on the metals. And I think that's pretty much it. Yep, that is all. Let's go look at sector majors. Wow, everything's green today. Almost everything. We got some housing that doesn't look very good. Well, that's a shocker. Semiconductors. For the most part, though, pretty green day. Oil's doing really good. Well, that's interesting. Oil ETFs are rallying so high with oil mostly kind of. I mean, it's up 1%, but those are pretty big moves in OIH and the XOPs. Oh, one thing I did notice is look what's kind of waking up right now. Cannabis. Hello, cannabis. What are you doing? Look at this. GrowGen up 10%. Oh, look at this. If we go to GrowGen, I bet this is a just shy of a 618 retrace. Oh, it's right on the 618 retrace. This thing gets back above $4, 420, because we got to use 420 if we're going to go with the weed stock. So this thing gets back above 420. Shit, watch out, man. Maybe the administration will make a surprise weed announcement before the elections to muster up some of their base. I don't know. I don't really care about politics, so this is interesting though. Bulls are this. I mean, we're rallied right up to the 21, but I mean, hey, it's noteworthy when you see the Bulls pumping stuff off of these lows here. We get back above like a $1.40 on this. That could rally us up into this trend line. Interesting. I like Tilray here. I actually really like this little kind of base. Looks pretty damn safe above 230 and really got to clear 275. So it's kind of range bound between that, but we are getting a little bit of love here. Village Farm, we're just rallying to the 21. Nothing too crazy there. But if we start getting some follow through on some of these weed stocks, I do like this as a little bit of a basing pattern. That looks actually pretty good. You can see DMI. The bulls are trying to duke it out to attempt to go into the power zone. We clear 350s. You know, we probably can rally to this trend line. It's been a while since we've rallied to the 200, which the 200 the 200 MA on the daily and the trend line are almost the same at this point. Well, actually, they pretty much are exactly the same. Let's go to blockchains and then wrap this up. Let's see if we got any rallying here. A little bit of rallying, just a little poquito rally. Really don't want to lose the 320-ish area on this guy. And as soon as we can re-establish price above like 350, this actually would look really good. And we're hoping to see this along with price action confluence with Bitcoin, with Mama Bear. Kind of like how GDX and precious metals, how you would kind of use those correlations. So this is in the same vein of that. And this is just a little kind of a minor index that I put together. Which you can do, you can put anything you want together. All you do is put plus signs in between the tickers that you want to add, and it'll create like a little index. Cores, man, could cores go any more sideways? I guess they forewent earnings. They didn't report them, or I'm not really sure what gray means when that happens. Another thing I don't really give a shit about, like I care that earnings are coming up. I don't care what the earnings say, though. I know some people trade earnings, and my buddy trades earnings and makes pretty good money selling neutral strategies around it, and that's all fine and dandy because volatility is overstated generally, but I just don't really care mostly about news. I'm a PA guy all the way. Price action, if you don't know. I do want to buy some of this. I bought some back over here. We talked about that live on stream too. And they are uploaded on YouTube as well. If y'all don't want to watch them on TradingView, I get it. I like to actually look at the videos on YouTube too. It's just YouTube's kind of got it down for navigating and organizing videos. TradingView will come along at some point. But anyway, yeah, so sideways as hell. I really want to nibble on this, but it's not easy to get in and out of this. It's not super liquid. I've traded quite a few times now, and it's not. You kind of have to give up pretty good chunks of change to get in and out. So just keep that in mind if you do want to trade it. It's best to probably kind of put bids in and let the order work for a few days or something like that, if you were to trade that. All right, I think that's it for today. I don't see any tickers in the box. Hopefully the chat's working. Sometimes the chat don't work, but that's fine. So to wrap up the thoughts, we're just sideways here. We do got the vol flash on Ethereum. Pretty much the same shit as last videos, 26, 28K, 17 and a half, 18 and a half. We got the vol flash though, which indicates upside breakout, which usually it's between 10 and 20 something percent, which both put us right around these two local highs. Of course, some of them have rallied well beyond that and done 50 to multiple hundreds of percent. I don't think we're in the multiple hundreds camp right now. That would be pretty crazy, and I'm not sure if that's like a thing. Like, I don't know. This is just like a thought I have, and the Super Bulls won't like this. And hell, I've been wrong on this one before because it's hard to imagine that something can just double, triple from here. Because we double, triple, like a triple would be all the way up to like almost 6K. That just sounds crazy. Ethereum 6K. But hell, anything can happen. Bitcoin's at 20 something thousand and hit 69,000. Of course, it hit 69,000. What else would it hit? So anything is possible in markets. What's that good saying? The markets can stay irrational longer than you can remain solvent. A very good one to remember. And the opportunity is infinite. Capital is finite. That's also a really good one that I like to tell myself when I'm getting out of a losing, shitty trade that I don't want to take the loss. I'm like, whatever, opportunity. There's a million opportunities. A lot of times it's better just to get out of that negative sentiment of that shitty trade and just put that capital to work in something that's set up a lot better. Because sometimes you just look at that thing forever. I have a position right now that I got put to at the beginning of the year, selling some options on. And it's just like, man, I'm tired of looking at that stupid position. And I almost took it off last month to repurpose the money. And I probably should. I'm probably going to do that this week because it's just not really performing. And hey, you win some, you lose some. That's part of the game, man. All right. I think das ist alles. That is it. No mas. I hope y'all have a beautiful, awesome, super great Monday. Yeah, I don't see no tickers in there. No problem. Makes it easier for me. I might just wait for just a second and kind of look at some of my watch lists while I wait for that to go into the interwebs. If someone does want to post a ticker for me to go check out before I sign off. So I'll let that go through the web airwaves. Other than that, though, I really do hope y'all have an awesome week. It is the start of Monday, the start of the week, which is Monday. That was kind of redundant, but whatever. So I hope y'all have a great week. I'm going to just kind of click around here for a second while that goes out there. And then if I don't see any tickers, we will conclude the show. See what Apple's doing. Oh, look at this. Vol flash at the top of range on Apple, too. Wow. So NASDAQ has that. And of course, Apple would have it because that is pretty much the NASDAQ along with Microsoft. Does Microsoft have one too? Wow, Microsoft also does have one. Very interesting. Let me go look in the history real quick. I'm curious now. Is this a thing that's happened before? Let me see. I'm sure it has. Yeah, here's one. Here's a flash at the top of range, which did actually end up preceding a 8% dump. Okay. How about this one? This one's at the top of range, which proceeded to rally another 28%. So a lot different. A lot different there. Again, this is directionless indicator. The historical volatility is. Here's another one at the top of range. It did proceed to do a little 5% dump, but ended up carrying on to the moon. And let's see, here's another one. I was already in the hole. Here's a couple more kind of in the hole too. Definitely rallied though. All right, interesting. And this one's after a pretty severe rally. Very, very interesting. As we break out over this trend line on our attempt to on Microsoft, you can see this local high over here. Very important. If we lose 315 off of this vol flash, I would not be surprised if we go and fill this gap. I could easily see that happening. So if we did that, what is that? That's a pretty big sell-off. And that's like a 14, 15% sell-off. But that's definitely in the cards with this setup. And you can actually see we just filled this gap right here. Gaps almost always get filled. Don't forget that. It might take a while. There's no time frame on gap filling. At least not any good analysis I've seen. If you know some, please share it. DM me. But I haven't really seen any good analysis for timing gaps. They just kind of get filled at some point. And I'd say probably 80 something percent of the time, maybe even higher. Deleted symbols list. What is that? Delete. I guess I delete them and it puts them in there. I don't know. Haven't noticed that before. Oh, dang. What is DraftKings doing? Holy smokes. Dang, that bitch rallying hard. W pattern. Very nice on this weekly. Look at this. This actually looks pretty damn good. Boom, boom, bam. We got that W pattern. This thing is bullish as hell above 22 bucks. Measured move target is all the way up here at about 35. Wow. All right. Kind of in this cluster here. Let's blue box it. Let us blue box it. Very nice. It is pretty aggressive slope, but hey, man. Interesting nonetheless. Like the great Jim Cramer says, there's always a bull market somewhere. Oh, man. Good old Jimmy Jim. Nice trend line here. This actually is starting to look really good, too, above $17. It just has a little resistance here at about almost 18. But shit, after that, let's see. What's a big fib retrace on this? Man, up to about 20. Interesting. All right. All right. Oh, hell. Tesla, looks like some crap's rallying today. Hood, stupid Kathy, what is she doing? Oh, look, she's trying to break out today. Actually doesn't look too bad above 38 bucks. Snow, man, a lot of crap has rallied. What the hell? How about Tesla? Nah, trying to get back above 200. Filled this gap. Almost filled this gap. Look at that. Dying. We don't look at Tesla all the time, but mind the gaps, y'all. We almost filled it all the way. Kind of just barely got into it. Missed the full gap fill by about $5, but nice little rally here. See if we can get back above 200. 200 is mega resistance on Tesla. I'm going to go look. All right, no tickers. Sweet. Municipal bonds. Oh, God, selling off some more with those hiking hawkish comments. And also from the bonds dumping too, so that don't help. Awesome. So you already know what's up. Much love. It's been Z-Rex with no noise signing off. I'll see y'all on Wednesday morning. Take care. Peace.